My name is Eskar. I was born in Matthews Ridge. My she was a stay-home mom, and my dad, he was a heavy equipment operator. Shortly after, both of them separated, and I was raised with my mom's alone and my other three siblings. My siblings, three of them is in the States. There's three sisters I have, and they're all older than me. I'm the last. When I started out school, I started primary at Catholic school, and I was living in Lodge at the time. I went to St. Thomas More RC school, where I went into, I think I left there as second standard and went to Pleasance to live. Because around that time, my mom's had left for the States. And I had to live with my older sister. She was taking care of me and my other sister, June. Right now, I live at 31 Penitentiary Walk in New Amsterdam, Berbice. And I run a center here called Transitional House. Transitional House is a drug rehabilitation and reintegration program. One of the things that I remember most about my father is that he was a very caring individual. He drank a lot, excessively. I remember days when I'm playing in the yard with my friends, and he would be passing by with a bicycle, and the guys used to say, "Hey, there goes your dad," you know. And I remember walking to the bridge and looking at him staggering, pushing his bicycle. I used to feel very hurt, you know, because I didn't spend much time with him, and he had a whole lot of family other than me. My mom's left. I can't recall the exact age that she left for the States, but it really hurted me, and it impacted me in a negative way because she was all that I had. Then now my sister, June, she was 4 years older than me. It was just me and her. So we basically together she was like my mom's, my sister, my everything. You know, she was the only one that could really talk to me. You know, I had no male figure around. You know. Well, the absence of my parents, it was really dramatic to me because many of the times I go to family and other friends' houses and I see how their family are coexisting, and it's a void, you know. And I started working at a big shop at a young age, and one of the things I took up was like after work we would go out and have a drink, and that seemed to be something that I used at that time to numb the pain of what I was experiencing. So growing up, after my mom's left and went to the States, I never really followed the church, but what happened to me that really turned my spirit against a Christian, most Christians that I've met in my walk, in my life, just cut out scriptures and throwed it at me. You know, they had a scripture for everything, you know, and they're always telling me, God tell them to tell me this, you know, and I was just choose my teeth and go along with it, because if you God is so powerful that He could tell you, why He can't tell me? And but the thing what made me very upset, it was that I see the same people who used to cut out these scriptures and used to be so holier than thou, doing bad things. They're drinking up and sporting up and winding up at the weekend at a party club where I got the little dice game going and whatnot. I seen the same people. The same people preaching to me about doing wrong is the same people fornicating. The same pastor who was preaching Sunday morning message is the same pastor went in and molesting the little girl next door. And this happened in my village, you know. And so these things turned me off from the Christian faith and turned me off from the whole God thing, period. So I developed a manner of if I didn't do it, it wouldn't get done. If I sit down on my bed and I want a cup of water, God is not going to move from that sink and bring it to me. That's my mindset. I have to get up off the bed and walk to that sink and get the cup of water. God already, well, obviously, but provided water, so I got to go get it. And so that's my mindset. That's how my mind works. Prior to me leaving Guyana, I have gotten more like my father, so to speak, a heavy drinker at a young age, trying to fill the void that was inside, trying to numb the pain. I'm always having the outward appearance that all is well. Most of my times when I was going through my alcohol and drugging, most of the convictions that I was having was that I am repeating a generation again, because I always get in the reflection of my father. I always having that conviction that I'm being just like my dad. And I'm always asking myself, when will it end? When will it end? Well, my life was very unmanageable because of my alcohol consumption and my drug use. I couldn't find a balance. The demands of the drug and the alcohol was high, and everything that I have, I ate less meals just to support my drinking habit. I got into a lot of fights, a lot of bar fights, and I ended up getting scrapes with the law. I got overnight lockup, weekend lockup. I got put on probation many times because I'm a working man. So I started drinking even more, but then I found something out there that could have helped me even more, was that they had a drug called speed, methamphetamine, and that drug I didn't have to sleep. And plus, when I drink, I could drink even more without getting drunk. So I became a good friend of that drug. And during the course with me and that, I did a lot of work, but my body deteriorated. When I got into prison, I was very angry, man. My motto was that if it took $500 to keep me in prison, they're gonna damn sure earn it. And I gave them hell. And emotionally, I was very disturbed. When I got into the shoe, I cleaned around the cell with the top that they gave me, but there was a little Bible sitting in the corner. I never even touched the thing. I left it the same pile of dust that was on it, and the same way it was, that's how I left it. But there's a Portuguese man that used to come by, a CO officer. He told me, he said, Eskar, you need to pick up something and read something, especially that Bible that got catching dust. It's going to help you in this life. My anger started to consume me even more. And that's what I used. That was my adrenaline, my energy, my anger. I let that, and that's why I win a lot of fights. The thing is, I end up in the shoe again, facing murder charge. And I had one CO used to come and see me, in that same Portuguese guy. He used to come by and he used to talk to me. He said, you see, every time you come in here is something more serious. He said, you need to pray. You need to give your life to God. And I remember seeing the Bible, looking at the Bible there, and I pick it up, and I just lay it on my chest, I said, I don't know about this God stuff. This whole Christian thing, I think it's a big money-making deal. I said, I don't understand how, if you're such a powerful God, you can't reveal yourself to me. Why do you have to go through somebody else to talk to me? If you created me like they say, why is it that you can't show me? Show me. Show me who you are. Well, I cracked the Bible open and my eyes was at Romans chapter 6, starting with verse 14. And it said, sin shall not have dominion over you, for you're not under the law, but under grace. And it caught my attention. Because my life from way back then to now has been nothing but I wallowed in sin. Sin was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was my clothing that I wear. I fulfilled the lust of my flesh. But for the first time, I started to understand certain things. Tears was rolling down the corner of my eyes. I was laying there in the dark. I wasn't in the dark no more. This place seemed dark. If you come and look in the cell, you wouldn't even see me or anything. But where I was in my mind was light, was lit. Something happened. For years, I never shed a tear. And in that instant, I cried like a baby. For years, I begged. I never was able to shed eye water. How my heart was so cold and stone. How I had anger so built up inside of me. I closed the Bible, and in the closing, a piece of paper fell out. It was a Gideon's Bible, I guess, because they had some words on it. And it says, if you believe, say these words, repeat these words out loud. And I repeat the words that was on that paper, asking God to come into my life and accepting it. Looking back at my life, from where I'm at now, where God has brought me from, I see my ideas and the way that I viewed Christians, or the so-called normal person, was very distorted. Today, I understand the nature of the flesh. And I understand that we all are humans and we all have certain thorns in our flesh. We all have something that we go through, or some bad element. But God is using each and every one of us like He's using me in my own. He brought me out of the prison. He brought me out of the drug craze. He brought me through those experiences with the gang and the cocaine. And He bring me to a place where today I'm able to help others to come through that same situation. The Lord has saved me. He has saved me from running mad. You know, He has took me, restored my sanity. I was a man without God. I became a drunkard and a junkie. Today I'm a productive member of society, helping others to find a way. I know that there is hope in Jesus. I know that there is hope. I know that don't matter if you're a drunkard, if you're a drug addict, a sex offender, a wife beater, I know God is able to forgive. God is able to take that person and change that person. I am one living proof today of what God can do.
Because of my experience with God, from a young man to date, I would testify that God is able to save. Jesus is able to keep. He is able to sustain. He is able to provide. I'm saying to you, if you trust God, you would find Him a very present help in the time of need. Whatever your problems are, He will solve those problems. I'm talking about 41 years of serving God. And I'm saying that what He has done for me, certainly He can do for you if you trust Him. I am challenging you to trust Him. And I would challenge you to call the number you see on the screen. Call those numbers and make contact with any one of the persons. There are those who will be willing to respond to your call and to answer any question that you have in mind. They would also refer you to the nearest pastor or church nearest to where you reside. So you definitely are going to get someone to make contact with you. We are not going to receive your calls and not make contact with you. We're here for you, and we are going to commit ourselves to ensure that God helps you in whatever need you may have. God bless you.
Oh, now Jesus.